Have you gone back through the map based things which I gave? Have you revised? Keep practicing them. Try to have a look at them frequently so that you don't forget them. All the map based questions, don't feel that you should be mugging them up. Once you get to know them frequently, like once in 10 days, once in 15 days, it is very easy to remember. So don't try to put mnemonics and mugging them up, like borders of this sea, borders of that ocean. Don't try to do that. Keep looking at the maps, Right, we'll start today. So the first one is wetland city accreditation. What is wetland city? What is a wetland? Yes, the land which is submerged with water under for some significant period of time is known as a wetland. So the wetland city accreditation is an initiative under Ramsar Convention, Ramsar sites. What is Ramsar Convention? Yes. So the Ramsar Convention is about restoration and conservation of the wetlands of importance. Currently there are around 80 wetlands in India under Ramsar Convention. Currently there are 80. This year they have added 5, which we gonna discuss today. 5 wetlands. So the primary aim of wetland city accreditation is to enhance the conservation and sustainable utilization of the wetlands, particularly in the urban areas. Wetland city conservation. Conservation and utilization of these wetlands. So particularly about urban and peri-urban wetlands. In this, India had proposed, or by the Ministry of Environment and Forest, the cities of Indore and Bhopal. Indore and Bhopal. Also Udaipur. These 3 cities. So Indore has 2 Ramsar sites, Sirpur Lake and Yashwant Sagar. Bhopal has Boj wetland. Udaipur has multiple 5 lakes. Indore already has 2 Ramsar wetlands, Sirpur Lake and Yashwant Sagar. Bhopal Boj wetland, it is also a Ramsar site, and Udaipur it has 5 major lakes. So the importance of wetland city conservation is the conservation and restoration of water bodies, particularly in urban and peri-urban areas, where the proposal has been sent by Government of India for inclusion of these 3 cities, wetland city conservation, which includes Indore, Bhopal and Udaipur. So it is a voluntary initiative under Ramsar Convention to recognize the cities that has taken exceptional measure to conserve and protect urban and peri-urban wetlands. Wetland city accreditation. So primary aim is to enhance the conservation, sustainable utilization of these peri-urban and urban wetlands, providing socio-economic benefits to the local communities. So it is more about the urban wetlands. So why it is in news? Because the Ministry of Environment and Forest has nominated Indore, Bhopal from Madhya Pradesh and Udaipur from Rajasthan for this accreditation. Indore, home for Sirpur and Yashwant Sagar. Bhopal, Bhoj Wetland. Udaipur, 5 lakes, Pichola, Fateh Sagar, Rang Sagar, Swarup Sagar and Doodh Talai. So 5 major lakes are there in Udaipur. Pichola Lake, Fateh Sagar, Rang Sagar, Doodh Talai and Swarup Sagar. So these are the 3 cities which are nominated under this wetland city accreditation. Then next one, Padmaja Naidu Himalayan Zoo Park. Padmaja Naidu Himalayan Zoo Park. Located in Sikkim. Not Sikkim, I guess. Darjeeling. More about conservation about red panda. Conservation about red panda. It is a central hub for Indian red panda program. Indian red panda program. And the other important feature is, this is world's highest zoo. Located at highest altitude. World's highest zoo. Largest high altitude zoo. So the other species, snow leopard, is also present in this zoo. Other important species, snow leopard. So Padmaja Naidu Himalayan Zoological Park, Darjeeling Zoo. It is situated in Darjeeling, West Bengal. It is the largest high altitude zoo in India. It specializes in breeding animals adapted to the alpine conditions. It has successful captive breeding programs for snow leopard, Himalayan wolf. This is another thing, this also you had, Himalayan wolf and red panda. It serves as a central hub for Central Zoo Authority of India's Red Panda program. India's Red Panda program. And it is a member of World's Association Zoos and Aquarium. So Darjeeling Zoo. Then Eurasian otter. Where do you find this Eurasian otter? In India, where do you find it? In which habitat? It was first time found in some Kerala. Just go back. Kerala kanpadin. That is why it is on in news. So its habitat is versatile. It includes both aquatic and terrestrial. So primarily it is a shy animal with nocturnal behavior. shy animal with nocturnal behavior. It is near threatened. Conservation status according to IUCN is near threatened. And it is under Schedule 1 under Environment Protection Act. Schedule 1. So this is in news because it has been spotted recently. So Eurasian otter, versatile, inhabiting diverse aquatic environments such as highlands, lowland lakes, rivers, streams, marshes, swamp forests and coastal areas. Behavior, they are predominantly nocturnal and exhibit shy behavior, only foraging during night time, nocturnal animal. So near threatened, threats because of habitat loss, pollution and hunting, legal protection. It is listed under Schedule 1 offering highest level of protection. So this is the Eurasian otter. Then, so we were saying there were 5 new additions, 3 from Karnataka and 2 from Tamil Nadu for Ramsar sites. 5 new Ramsar sites. From Karnataka, Magadikere, Ankasamudra and Aganashini. Sorry, Aganashini. Yes. Ganashini and the last one Ankasamudra. And from Tamil Nadu, Karaivetti and Longwood Shola. These are 5 new additions, making total sites to 80. So, key features of each one. So, Karivetti, it is located in Tamil Nadu. It is a freshwater lake, supports black-headed ibis, a migratory bird, and oriental darter. Then Longwood Shola forest. So it is named after the tropical rain Shola forest, where you find Nilgiri marten, an important mammal. Nilgiri marten. So threats are deforestations, and Magadikere, it is in Karnataka. Here you see bar-headed goose. Bar-headed goose. And in Ankasamudra, the Great Indian Bustard. What is Great Indian Bustard? Yes. What is troubling it? Why it is frequently in news? Yes, that is one thing. Then, yes, why? Then, Aganashini. It is a brackish water ecosystem where the Aganashini river merges with Arabian Sea. A brackish water ecosystem. So these are the 5 new Ramsar sites. So what will happen when it gets certified by Ramsar Convention?
Human activities are conservation.
Yes, correct. Go back, read Ramsar Convention. So Kariveti, Tamil Nadu, it is a freshwater lake, black-headed ibis and oriental darter. These are the important species here. It is vital for avian biodiversity, particularly a stopping point for migratory birds. So challenges include challenges or threats to it is water pollution, encroachment and habitat degradation. Then Magadikere Conservation Reserve. It's from Karnataka, where it hosts migratory species like bar-headed goose. So unique wetland supporting local and migratory biodiversity, enhances Karnataka's biodiversity, important wetland dependent livelihood. Then Longwood Shola. It is named after the forest. It plays a critical role in maintaining the region's hydrological regime. It captures the rainwater through the marshes and releases it via streams. So home to the rare species like Nilgiri marten. Essential for water conservation, ecological balance, enhancing the biodiversity, and threats deforestation and climate change. Then Ankasamudra. So it is known for Karnataka's only habitat for Great Indian Bustard, critically endangered. So it hosts various waterfowl and grassland bird species, crucial for grassland conservation. So challenges are habitat loss and anthropogenic measures. And then last one, Aganashini estuary. It is formed at the confluence of Aganashini river with the Arabian. Hence it is a brackish water ecosystem rich in mangroves, aquatic biodiversity, supports sustainable fishing and local livelihoods, threats coastal development and exploitation of the resources. So these are the 5 new sites which have been added to the Ramsar Convention. Then, so Aganashini estuary, confluence of Aganashini river with the Arabian Sea. So traditional fish farming happens here. Then the other is Ankasamudra, human-made village irrigation tank, black-headed ibis. Magadikere, human-made wetland constructed to store rainwater, one of the largest wintering grounds for bar-headed goose. Kariveti, migratory species like pink-tailed duck, All this come in Longwood Shola forest. It is about the Nilgiri marten. అక్కడ కూడా ఉంది. ఇక్కడ చెప్పాను. ఇప్పుడు ఎక్కడ ఉంది? దీంట్లో ఎక్కడ ఉంది? పింక్. బేసికలీ ఇవంతా మైగ్రేటరీ బర్డ్స్ వస్తూ ఉంటాయి. సేమ్. ఓకే, ఇందులో అంక సముద్రాలు మనం గ్రేట్ ఇండియన్ బస్టర్డ్స్ చెప్పుకున్నాం కదా. Then Dalma Wildlife Sanctuary. So the next one is Dalma Wildlife Sanctuary. So why it is in news? It is in news because of there is a proposal for giving a canopy walking facility. Canopy walking facility. What is canopy walking facility? So walking, what is canopy? The highest layer of the trees. So canopy walking facility. So there is this canopy walking facility has been a proposal because to avoid human animal conflict, particularly elephants in this area. So that is why it is in news. So Dalma Wildlife Sanctuary present in Jharkhand in Dalma Hills. Jharkhand, Dalma Hills. So the sanctuary gets name, it's from a local goddess called Dalma Mai. Dalma Mai. So vegetation is dry peninsula, dry mixed, heavy, very rich floral diversity is here. So sanctuary is known for the elephants, as we were discussing, human animal conflict, particularly elephants. Besides elephant, it also has barking deer, wild boar, giant squirrels, sloth bears. So it is in news because canopy walk facility will aid the nature lovers, particularly bird watchers, who can spend long hours and can record the behavioral pattern of the birds. Canopy walking facility, it is being created in this Dalma Wildlife Sanctuary, which is situated in Jharkhand, Dalma Hills. So this is about the next thing. Then Kaji Nemu. This is in news because it has been given the status of official fruit of the state of Assam. Official state fruit. Kaji Nemu. It's a type of lemon which has more content of juice compared with the traditional lemon. Kaji Nemu. It also got GI tag status. Native to Assam. State fruit of Assam. It possesses an elongated oblong shape, that is oblique shape, much juicier than the other varieties of lemons. A distinct fragrance and antioxidant properties, and also powerhouse of nutrients. So it is being cultivated across all districts of Assam, available throughout the year. As I was saying, it is awarded GI tag. Kaji Nemu. Masuli mask. Assam. Recent GI additions. Please go through the list also in culture. Masuli Island, Masuli mask. So this is Kaji Nemu. And then there is a report by International International Energy Agency, IEA, called Global Methane Tracker. International Energy Agency, So it said that in 2023, highest ever record emissions were released of methane. Highest ever record emissions. So top emitters US, Russia and China. So what was the prime source of methane emissions? Yes, agriculture, livestock and then vehicular emissions. Wetlands also, yes. So which is more potential? So if you see the increasing potential of global warming potential, CO2, methane, sulfur dioxide and fluorocarbons.
Sulfur dioxide not a global warming gas.
అది SF6 ఉంటుంది కదా,
Sulfur.
సల్ఫర్ ఫ్లోరైడ్, yes, SF.
Methane high potential compared to CO2.
Yes, CO2, methane, SF6 and fluoride HFCs, highest in the HFCs. So that is the increasing order. So additional emissions, bioenergy produced from the plants, animal waste resulted in additional 10 million tons of emissions, as we were discussing the different sources of the methane. So emission trends, all those studies indicate that emissions are declining in certain areas, but overall emissions are much excessive high. Then there is another report called World Air Quality Report. World Air Quality Report. It is given by Swiss organization IQ Air. IQ Air. So India has been ranked third worst or third most air polluted country behind Pakistan and Bangladesh. So third most polluted country. So Delhi has been ranked most polluted capital city for the fourth consecutive year. So India has been ranked third in terms of air quality. Only Pakistan and Bangladesh are ahead of us in this. Delhi for the fourth year most polluted capital city. And Begusarai in Bihar, it is identified as most polluted metropolitan area globally. And India has top 10 of the top 11 polluted cities globally. So 96% of India faces PM 2.5 levels that exceed WHO annual guideline by more than 7 times. What is National Clean Air Program? Is it implemented on all cities or any specific cities? Yes. Those are termed as non-attainment cities. So what is monitored? PM 2.5 and PM 10. So how these non-attainment cities are listed? Which cannot reach National Quality Air Ambient Standards. National Air Ambient Quality Standards. So around 130 cities which target about PM 2.5 and PM 10 particularly. National Clean Air Program. What is GRAP? Yes. Particular to Delhi. This is also in news. This is also in news. So the global air report, which is given by IQ3, says that India is the third most polluted country. Delhi is the most polluted capital city. Begusarai is the globally most polluted metropolitan area. Right? India has top 10 polluted cities across the globe in top 11. Right? So leopard population. There was a recent survey has been conducted about this leopard count, leopard population. So recently conducted, around 13,874 leopards have been counted, but this survey has covered only 70% of the habitat, where Himalayas and semi-arid regions were excluded from this survey. So it shows it might be more than the 13,000. So region-wise trend, in central India they remained stable. In Shivaliks and Gangetic plains there is a decline. So statements might come according to the recent survey of leopard survey. The Shivalik showed decline or Shivalik showed increase. So such fact statements might come in UPSC Prelims. Central India stable, whereas Shivalik and Gangetic plains there has been a decline. Overall, there is an increase of the number of the leopards. So such statements can come where we might get confused while answering the questions. We have the basic idea, but that specific fact points we might miss them. So leopard population. Then, so remember this increasing, decreasing orders are top states. The highest number of leopards have been reported from Madhya Pradesh, then Maharashtra, then Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So the locations, specific locations means highest populations in Nagarjuna Sagar Srisailam in Andhra Pradesh, then Panna and Satpura in Madhya Pradesh. If it is about specific locations, Nagarjuna Sagar Srisailam in Andhra Pradesh, Panna and Satpura. So did you check where is Pench? Madhya Pradesh? Check chesara malli? Border lo unda, renditla shared unda. But as such, it is in Madhya Pradesh. So this is about leopard population, where there has been a recent survey with around 13,000 leopards. A recent trend showed that the Shivaliks and Gangetic plains, the number of leopards have decreased, whereas in central India it is almost stable. So statewide statistics says the Madhya Pradesh has highest number of leopards in India, and now if you take particular location, it is Nagarjuna Sagar Srisailam in Andhra Pradesh. Right? Then Bugun Liocichla. So it is a bird. It is a bird very critically endangered. It is critically endangered, belonging to Arunachal Pradesh. So this is the bird. So this is in news because these people are Bugun tribes. Bugun tribes. They have donated I guess I don't remember number. It would be around some 14,000 hectares of the land, particularly for the purpose of conservation efforts towards this bird, Bugun tribe in Arunachal Pradesh. The bird name is Bugun Liocichla. Liocichla. How do you pronounce Bhargav? Yes, it is a bird species. So it spotted in 1995 in Arunachal Pradesh. The sanctuary is Eagle Nest Wildlife Sanctuary. Eagle Nest Wildlife Sanctuary. Bugun Liocichla. So critically endangered, only 14 to 20 of these birds are seen in this sanctuary. So this bird is a small babbler with olive grey feathers and black cap. The Buguns, so I was saying it's not 14,000, it is 1400. So a major tribe living in near Eagle Nest Wildlife Sanctuary, they have generously donated 1470 hectares of land for the conservation. Bugun tribes, Arunachal Pradesh. Then Green Credit Program. So Green Credit Program. This was an initiative in which COP? Yes, not Egypt. Egypt recent, Dubai. Dubai. PCM students, మీరు చెప్పాలి green credit programs. So green credit program. So it was an initiative along with the lines of mission life.
Can be used for the trading.
Yes, it is more about, I'll tell you the difference. Green credit program primarily in line with mission life. This was proposed at Glasgow Summit. Glasgow Summit. This says this is mainly about afforestation and water conservation. So the main difference is the carbon credit still never, the carbon trading mechanism, whatever is happening, it is mainly in a large scale by industries, countries about the greenhouse gas emission reductions. But this green credit program, it is bringing the afforestation activities or climate change activities to individual and community levels. So according to this program, it says every activity that done by the basic communities and individuals also have a positive effect on environment. Indian government. ఇది టోటల్ మనకి UNFCCలో వస్తుంది కదా. So the main nodal agency is ICFRE, Indian Council of Forest Research and Education. Indian Council of Forestry Research and Education. So the people or communities who are interested in this, they have to get registered with here, and they have, that will evaluate and allot the green credit programs according to the activity done by that segment, that community or individual. So mission life is more about, what is this quote? One life, one environment. One life, one environment. Pro planet, yes. And it is also about what kind of economy? Circular economy. Circular economy rather than the linear economy. Circular economy. All these points we have covered in PCM. Students, why are you silent?
Refuse, reduce, recycle.
Yes, yes. So this is about green credit program. Which is in news because, so it is has been emphasized by the Ministry of Environment Forest to take it more deeper into the more awareness into the citizens. So it is an initiative by PM during COP28 at Dubai, part of India's lifestyle for environment, life movement, mission life. So it is an innovative market-based mechanism where it incentivizes the voluntary environmental practices across diverse sectors by individuals, communities and private sector industries. So ICFRE will be the GCP Green Credit Program Administrator and it will be responsible for the implementation of that program. ICFRE, Indian Council of Forestry Research and Education. Right? So the GCP focuses on two activities as we were saying, water conservation, afforestation. So there will be green credit registry trading platform which would facilitate the registration and thereafter buying and selling of this green credits. So the carbon markets which are more focused at higher level industries and corporations, the GCP, it can benefit individuals and communities also. So that is the main intention. Yeah, incentivize cheyadam, monetize cheyadam, coach. But that you should be registered first and then you have to do an activity that will be evaluated. Based on that activity they will give the green credits and that can be traded. Yes. That will be anta specific ga teliyadu, but it can be traded or it can be sold. Then the next one is science-based target initiative. Science-based target initiative. So why it is in news? Because so it has got three components where the third component it is being objected by multiple sections of the globe. So the three components of this science-based target initiative is first will be the direct emissions which is resulted from the activity of that organization. That is first one. Second one is indirect emissions. Third one, indirect emissions which are indirectly related to that organization. Third one is the emissions which are resulted without any contact of this organization. So when this is also put up as a burden on these corporations, they are resisting against it. We will discuss it. So scope 1 emissions are direct emissions controlled or owned by the sources like fuel consumption in company owned vehicles, emissions from the boilers. So direct emissions from that source. Whereas scope 2 is indirect emissions with the purchase of electricity. So from the activity you are doing, you are indirectly getting related with that emissions. So energy related emissions from a power plant that provides electricity to the company. So these are indirect emissions. But the contention is with this third one, other indirect emissions from the activities within the value chain which are neither owned nor directly connected to the company. Examples, emissions from the raw material production, transportation, supply chains. So all those also they are getting connected with this and they are using this as a tax, a kind of, there is one thing called EBS. EBS norms and untai. Go through. So based on that norms, this European Union has brought in CBAM. Yes. Carbon border tax. Carbon border adjustment mechanism. Carbon border tax. So here it says according to this EU says it has increased tax on goods from countries like India, saying the production of that good resulted in high emissions of CO2 or high emissions of greenhouse gas. So these are one set where the organizations are indirectly getting linked with the scope 3 emissions, where multiple corporations or multiple sections of the globe have been protesting. The zone of contention is scope 3, where the indirect emissions from the activities within the value chain, that is either from the raw materials or transportations or emissions from the use of the sold products. So which the parent organization is nowhere directly or connected, or it is neither directly emitting the emissions. So this is science-based target initiative formed in partnership with globally respected organizations like UN Global Impact, World Resource Institute and World Wildlife Fund. So it encourages companies to align with the Paris Agreement goals. So it has come up with 3 scopes of emissions. Based on this, European Union has been administering carbon border tax, carbon border adjustment mechanism. So this is science-based target initiative. UN Global Compact, World Resource Institute and World Wildlife Fund. Scope 1, Scope 2 and Scope 3. Then Caracal. It is a cat species. So recently, so this is Caracal. This is Caracal. So the Gujarat government has announced establishment of Caracal Breeding and Conservation Center in Kutch, Chadwarakal region in Kutch. Remember the state? Gujarat. So it is, the Caracal is medium-sized cat, native to Africa, Middle East and Central and South Asia. In India, it is called as Siya Ghosh, meaning black ear. Siya Ghosh, Gujarat, where the Gujarat government has is planning to establish a breeding and conservation center. So what are the other features of this Caracal? It has long legs, long canine teeth, the distinctive ears that are long and pointy. Distinctive ears which are long and pointy.
What's the location in the world?
Chepna indak. Central Africa, Middle East, Central Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia. So it is primarily nocturnal animal. It has extraordinary ability to catch the birds in flight. It's a cat species, nocturnal animal, long ears. Then earlier they could be found in arid and semi-arid scrub forests of 13 Indian states, primarily in Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, UP. So IUCN status is least concern and Schedule 1 in Wildlife Protection Act. IUCN status is least concern. So it is about Caracal. Then this is important. International Big Cat Alliance. This has been formed, or this has been initiative from India in 2023 after the 50 and commemorating the 50 years of Project Tiger. So International Big Cat Alliance, it is a multi-country, multi-agency launched in 2023. So objective is to ensure the cooperation of conservation of 7 big cats. So India had some budget allocation. So the 7 big cats include tiger, lion, leopard, snow leopard and cheetah. These are, yes, so jaguar and puma, where you don't find jaguar and puma in India. The first 5 you can see: tiger, lion, leopard, snow leopard and cheetah. So 7 cats. The 2 cats which you don't see in India are jaguar and puma. This might come as an MCQ, which are included in this 7, which are conserved or aimed, or which are not present in India. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these 7 big cats which are present in India, which are not present in India. That question can come like that. So tiger, lion, leopard, snow leopard, cheetah, jaguar and puma. Jaguar and puma are not there in India. So this is International Big Cat Alliance. Then the next one, process of denotifying a protected area. So this is in news because Supreme Court has stopped Assam's notification about removing the Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary, the status of protected area that is being removed. An application has been filed by Assam government regarding Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary, Assam. So primarily home for rhinos. It wanted to revoke as this is primarily located in the urban area. So it want to have that removal of that protected area buffer things which is hampering this convert. So they once they can have that, they can go ahead with the constructions and all. The Supreme Court asserted that withdrawing notification for wildlife sanctuary required permission from the National Board of Wildlife and clarified its order does not impede actions to protect the forest dweller rights. So in the process there was a mistake, that is why Supreme Court stopped this. So denotifying of a sanctuary or a national park, it should be recommended by National Board for Wildlife and then approved by Supreme Court. Whereas in the case of Tiger Reserve, recommended by National Tiger Conservation Authority, approved by National Board of Wildlife. Denotifications. Try to remember this. So as Assam has bypassed this, the process, the Supreme Court stopped this. So recommendation of the National Board for Wildlife by then approved by the Supreme Court in the case of denotifying of a sanctuary or national park.
So in the first case, approval by Supreme Court, is it a convention or faculty?
Convention. We'll chase it, తర్వాత Supreme Court approval ఇవ్వాలి. లేదు, అవసరం లేదు. So recommendation of NTCA and approval of National Board for Wildlife. Then the most seen topic in environment, Gangetic river dolphin, also called as susu, a blind animal. Yes, sonar. It is endemic to the Ganges. So why it is in news is recently National Dolphin Research Center. It was inaugurated in Bihar. Patna. So it is also called as Susu, side swimming dolphin, endemic to the river Ganga. Ganga, Brahmaputra, Meghna river systems, Nepal, India and Bangladesh. Habitat, primarily it prefers the deep water, only fresh water, where there are little or no currents. Gangetic river dolphin, It is first, it is called as Susu, NDRC, it is in recent news. Endemic to river Ganga, fresh water and prefer deep water where there are no or little disturbance. Endemic అంటే అక్కడికి ఎక్కువ ఉంటుందండి. దట్ ఆ రీజన్ ప్రిఫర్ చేస్తుంది, ఆ హ్యాబిటాట్నే ప్రిఫర్ చేస్తుంది. ఎక్స్క్లూజివ్ అనే చెప్పచ్చు. ఎండమిక్ ఇస్ ఇట్స్ లైక్ ఇట్ స్టిక్ టు దట్ ఏరియా అనే చెప్పచ్చు. మనం ఎక్స్క్లూజివ్ అనే చెప్పచ్చు. ఎండమిక్ అదే కదా మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఎండమిక్ అండ్ పాండమిక్ అదే కదా. అక్కడ పోయిన మళ్ళీ అంటే ఇట్ ప్రిఫర్స్ ద గ్యాంజెస్ వాటర్ ఓన్లీ. ఎస్. So features, so it is functionally blind as I was saying. It preys through echolocation. It cannot breathe, so it comes to the water every 30-40 seconds as it is a mammal, and the sound it makes, that is why it is referred to as susu. So they are frequently alone or small groups. Travel in alone and small groups. Echolocation, functionally blind. So major threats: fishing gears, pollution and over exploitation, poaching for the dolphin oil and habitat destructions. So protection status: endangered in IUCN, Wildlife Protection Act, Schedule 1, CITES, Appendix 1. What is CITES? Correct. So what is Appendix 1 of CITES?
Which is endangered in many countries. And trade is strictly prohibited.
2.
It cannot be traded.
అంతేనా?
Trade in specimens completely prohibited.
అనిమల్స్ బర్డ్స్ కాదా క్లాసిఫికేషన్? ఒకసారి చూడండి. ట్రేడ్ ఐ అండర్స్టాండ్.
అది మీరు ఇప్పుడు చెప్పింది పాత వైల్డ్ లైఫ్ ప్రొటెక్షన్ యాక్ట్ లో షెడ్యూల్స్ ఉంటుంది. ఇక్కడ 4th to 5th ప్లాన్స్ ఉంటాయి.
ఓకే, రైట్. ఓకే, ఒకసారి చూడండి. జస్ట్ రివైజ్ దట్. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ అబౌట్ Gangetic river dolphin. సో NDRC, Susu, river Ganga, fresh water, deep water, less currents, functionally blind, echolocation, it cannot breathe under the water, major threats and protection status: endangered, Wildlife Schedule 1, CITES Appendix 1. Then Asiatic lions. So Asiatic lions, why it is in news? So it has improved in the IUCN status to vulnerable. So it recently recategorized Asiatic lion as vulnerable from endangered. Improved from endangered to vulnerable. So Asiatic lions, these are subspecies of lions smaller than the African lions. Habitat currently Gir National Park in Gujarat. These are one of the 5 big cats found in India, known as king of beasts. So particularly this thing, IUCN is vulnerable, Schedule 1 and Appendix 1 in CITES, right? Then Kashmir Hangul, Kashmiri stag, Dachigam National Park, Jammu Kashmir. So it is a state animal of Kashmir, Jammu Kashmir. Yes. Deer lage untundi. Picture pettinatledu. Deer lagane untundi. So it is also known as Kashmiri stag, Kashmiri red stag, which is highly shy and sensitive animal. So it lives in the dense riverine forest, high valleys and mountains of Kashmir Valley and in northern Chamba in Himachal Pradesh. So IUCN status is critically endangered. Sites Appendix 1, threats, habitat loss and poaching, and as I said, Dachigam National Park. Where is Loktak Lake? అక్కడ ఏముంటుంది అనిమల్? దాని పేరు ఏదో స్పెసిఫిక్ ఏదో ఉంటుంది. సాంగాయిస్. సాంగాయిస్ కరెక్ట్. సాంగాయిస్. So this is about Kashmir stag, Dachigam National Park in Jammu Kashmir. Then short-lived climate pollutants. This is another topic. Short-lived climate pollutants, where they prefer much shorter time than carbon dioxide, yet their global warming potential is manifold times than the carbon dioxide. Though they live very smaller period compared to the carbon dioxide, but their global warming potential is very much high compared to the carbon dioxide. Such components are clubbed under short-lived climate pollutants. Their potential to warm the atmosphere will be many times greater than the carbon dioxide. So these are considered as the second largest contributor for the climate change after carbon dioxide, almost contributing up to the 45%. Short-lived climate pollutants. They remain in the atmosphere for very much short period of time. So second largest contributor. So these are the different short-lived climate pollutants: black carbon, methane, tropospheric ozone and hydrofluorocarbons. So their lifetime is, if it is black carbon 4 to 12 days, methane just 12 years, ground level ozone is few hours to few weeks, HFCs is around 15 years. So when compared to the carbon dioxide, it has got very short life, but their global warming potential is very, very high. Black carbon, methane, tropospheric ozone and hydrofluorocarbons. So you all know this. On human health, they cause inflammation of lungs, asthma, allergies, weather patterns, tropospheric ozone influences, cloud formation thereby changing, regional weather, particular rainfall, acceleration of the ice melting. So all these points you already know. So the short-lived climate pollutants are those which have less lifespan but very high global warming potential. So try to take a picture, or actually I will give this in a handout. If you want, you can take a picture. Some of the important animals which are in news in these 4 months. So it's about animal where it's IUCN status, sites, wildlife, and then any other important point. So first one is Bugun Liocichla, which we have discussed. Eagle Nest Wildlife Sanctuary, Arunachal Pradesh. IUCN status is critically endangered. Then golden langur, it belongs to Western Assam, Black Mountains of Bhutan, endangered. spotted deer or axis deer, India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, bull sharks, then Cantor's giant shaft shell turtle. This is important. It is in news. Soft shell turtle. So it is primarily in eastern and southern India, critically endangered. Cantor's giant soft shell turtle. Right? Then laughing gull, we have discussed this. Chittari estuary. Which state? Kerala. Then black-necked night heron, local pond in Imphal. Black-necked crane. This is important. This is in news. More frequently, binturong. So it is also known as bear cat. Bear cat with a long tail, prehensile tail, which will utilize for movement and grasping. Prehensile tail, binturong, primarily in northeast India, Nilgiri Hills in Palani Hills. Then small clawed otter. I will share with you as a handout. So Moyar Valley, this belongs to Mudumalai Tiger Reserve in Tamil Nadu. It is a home of critically endangered gyps vulture. That is why it is in news, because of gyps. Moyar Valley. Location is important. Tamil Nadu, Mudumalai Tiger Reserve. Gyps. Critically endangered gyps vulture. These are some of the important things from environment. Now we will move to the science and technology. What is anil? So anil, first one is anil. Anil is advanced nuclear energy for enriched life, where they have mixed thorium with this HALEU, means high assay low enriched uranium. So anil is a combination of thorium and HALEU. It has been developed by a Chicago based company, Clean Core Thorium Energy. Clean Core Thorium Energy. Thorium plus HALEU. We will discuss what HALEU is all. So that is anil, advanced nuclear energy for enriched life. Thorium plus high assay low enriched uranium. So what is the general uranium which we find in the mines? U-235. 235 or 238? 238. U-238. So U-235 is a isotope of uranium which will have this, which will be utilized as nuclear fuel, because it can sustain this nuclear fission and activities, nuclear fission activity. So uranium-238, you always heard about this enrichment of the uranium. So in that uranium, which in naturally freshly mined, which is about 0.7%. So uranium-235 isotopes are, we try to mix with them, that is enrichment. So whatever the current nuclear power plants, they utilize this low enriched uranium, where uranium-235 is around 3 to 5%. 3 to 5%. But in the case of HALEU, it is 5 to 20%. That is better enrichment of the, or more enrichment of the uranium. Then highly enrichment uranium is more than 90% of uranium-235. So generally this is where the commercial reactors at current status. So what happens when the thorium with this HALEU gets mixed is, it provides a better fuel for our pressurized heavy water reactors. So that is the advantage of this HALEU and thorium, anil. So anil is, it can be used in the existing pressurized heavy water reactors where the better enrichment of the better enriched uranium fuel comes with 5 to 20%, unlike the low enriched uranium. So it provides easier and quicker alternative for the deployment of thorium, leveraging imported HALEU. By utilizing this, operations cost and nuclear waste reduction will be less. So this anil fuel bundle lasts much longer and burns more efficiently. Another important thing is the spent anil, it cannot be used for weapons. With this, India can generate or guarantee green energy security. So the important points: mixture of thorium and high energy, high assay, low enriched uranium, where 5 to 20% of enrichment is there. So it is used in pressurized heavy water reactors, low operational cost, reduction of waste, longer fuel bundle, more efficient burning, cannot be used in nuclear weapons. So these are the important things about anil, right? Noted? Right. Advanced nuclear energy for enriched life. Then Drishti 10 Starliner unmanned aerial vehicle. It is India's first medium altitude aerial long endurance aerial vehicle. Medium altitude long endurance vehicle. So medium altitude, long endurance, ఎక్కువ కాలం ఉంటుంది, medium altitude లో వెళ్తుంది. We will see the descriptions. So it is an advanced intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance platform. Male drones అంటారు వీటిని. So this would play pivotal role in naval operations, maritime interests in IOR in Indian Ocean region. It is an unmanned aerial vehicle, first Indian medium altitude vehicle with advanced intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance platform. So it has 36 hours of endurance. So it also stands out as the only weather military platform certified with this STANAC 4671. It's a variant of all-weather military platform, UAV. It is equipped with sensors, enhanced endurance, advanced communication and cutting-edge technologies. First, medium altitude, long endurance. This is Drishti 10 Starliner UAV. This one. Then MXene. So it is a advancement of nanotechnology. It is a kind of nanomaterial which exhibits these key features of high conductivity, of high hydrophilicity and outstanding mechanical properties. So With these key features, it has got multiple applications, primarily made up of this titanium carbide. What is the principle of nanotechnology?
Small size, more reactivity, more
It's
surface area will be there, so that the chemical reaction will be more.
correct. So it exhibits extra properties at the very minute levels, at the very minute size. So MXenes are the 2D ceramic nanomaterials with the key features of high metallic conductivity, high hydrophilicity, and outstanding mechanical properties, primarily made of this titanium carbide. So this is used in multiple applications like batteries, supercapacitors, hydrogen storage systems, radar absorption and 5G technologies, desalination membranes, composite materials like polymer reinforcement, ceramic matrix composites. The question will be like, they'll give all this batteries, one battery, 2 supercapacitors, 3 radar absorption, 4 desalination, 5 polymer reinforcement. So in which of the above following this MXene is used? 1 only, 2 only, 1, 2, 3, 4 only, 2, 3, 4 only. Such questions might come from these topics. So try to note it down if you don't have idea. Batteries, supercapacitors, hydrogen storage systems, radar absorptions, 5G communications, desalination membranes, polymer reinforcement and ceramic matrix composites. MXene. Right? Then we'll move to the next topic. Satyendra Nath Bose. Yes? Satyendra Nath Bose. He is a pioneer of quantum physics. He is a pioneer of quantum physics, best known for the contribution of Bose-Einstein statistics, Bose-Einstein condensate theory. Bose-Einstein statistics and Bose-Einstein condensate theory. We'll see what is what. He is in news because of commemoration of his birthday from I think 100 years. So Bose-Einstein statistics, Bose treated radiation as a gas of photons. So he used innovative statistic methods to derive Planck's law. Planck's law in radiation. So radiation, his studies on radiation, which he referred to as gas of photons. So these were the basis for development of quantum physics. So this is his contribution, primarily Bose-Einstein statistics, where the study of radiation he derived Planck's law, which formed the basis for quantum physics. So Bose-Einstein condensates is, he collaborated with the ideas of Einstein to predict a new state of matter. This condensation occurs when the atoms of certain elements are cooled to a temperature near absolute zero. So at this temperature, the clusters of atoms behave as single quantum entity. That is quantum technology, right? The principle of quantum technology. At subcooled temperature, the properties of the atoms change. Yes. So that is the principle of this quantum technology? Qubits antaru what? Qubits. So in recent news there is one advancement where this property of the quantum technology has been developed, not at the sub-freezing temperature but also at the room temperature. That was the recent advancement, the generations of this quantum materials, right? So the Bose contribution is about the quantum physics, where his study paved way for this Planck's law, and his condensate, his ideas collaborated with Einstein, emphasized the principle of condensation, where at the cool temperatures the atoms behave as a single quantum entity with wave and particle properties. That is the basis of this quantum technology. Right? This is about Satyendra Nath Bose. Bose, Einstein, statistics, Bose, Einstein, condensates. Then what is solar cycle? So solar cycle is a change of sun's activity for every 10 to 15 years. During this cycle, the number of dark spots, they tend to get decrease and increase. So more amount of dark spots means heavy activity in the sun. So when there is highest number of dark spots, that is referred to as solar maximum. When there is very less amount of the dark spots, it is solar minimum. Why this study is important is because whenever the solar maximum happens, because of very high activity, more amount of solar flares, more amount of coronal mass ejections, which will create that geomagnetic storms, right? So that is why this study is important. So solar maximum is the natural solar cycle for every 11 years. The cycle is marked by increase and decrease of the sunspots, which are visible as dark blemishes on the sun surface. The greatest number of sunspots in any cycle is solar maximum. Occurs to the roughly in the middle of that cycle, solar maximum. So here in the solar maximum, more brilliant explosions, dark sunspots, loops of plasma, spills of super hot gas, these are all observed. Multiple phenomenon regarding the solar flares, solar ejections. So impact of solar maximum, it will cause extreme space events including solar flares. It will disrupt the radio communications and of course the health effects on the astronauts. Coronal mass ejections. Solar maximum. So highest number of the dark spots in the solar cycle. Generally in the middle of that solar cycle, it will have that period, and then the cycles will, the spots will decrease and will reach to the solar minimum, and again the cycle continues. So this is about solar maximum. This is solar minimum, this is solar maximum, more number of dark spots. Right, clear about this? The next topic is juice jacking. So juice jacking is a cyber attack or cyber incident where people try to plug in for the charging in the public areas. The data is being posed for threat. That is juice jacking. Juice, what is juice? Energy. Jacking is cable. So juice jacking is, it is a form of cyber attacks where hackers manipulate the public USB charging ports to steal the data from connected devices by infecting them with the malware or altering hardware. So hackers utilize this attack to steal the data like passwords, credit card details, addresses and other things. This form of attack has been becoming increasingly concerning with the reported incidents occurring in the various public spaces like airports, hotels and shopping centers. Juice jacking. What is donking? Donking and the next step towards. He will collect all your personal data and he will display there. Here, that is donking. So prevention, you all know, carry your personal chargers, personal USB ports, employing VPNs and ensuring devices are equipped with latest security updates. Then Rhodamine B. What is Rhodamine B? Why it is in use?
Artificial coloring.
Yes, exactly. So the Tamil Nadu government, it has banned this artificial coloring agent in cotton candies. What is cotton candy? Peach mithai. This one. Saying this Rhodamine B is the cause of cancers. So artificial coloring agent. So the government of Tamil Nadu, it has banned sale and production of cotton candy after it found that Rhodamine B is the component which is present in this cotton candies. So it is a compound which is used for dyeing in industries, textiles, papers, leathers, paints. It is a coloring agent producing red and pink hues, red color, pink color. When in powder form, it appears green, but however, when it is added with the water, it changes into the pink color, Rhodamine B, which is utilized in cotton candy. So harmful effects, neurological damage, liver dysfunction, cancer risk. So according to the food safety standards also, anything with the Rhodamine B is a punishable offence. Rhodamine B in cotton candies. Government of Tamil Nadu has banned it because of this nature of being harmful to the health. It is a coloring agent. It gives pink or red color. Right. Then quasars. So what are quasars? Yes, correct. So rotating stars with high amount of energy ejection. So those are quasars. So these are very luminous objects in faraway galaxies that emit jets at radio frequencies. Jets of energies, very high energies. They are located in supermassive black holes. They are formed when an event causes a huge amount of gas pile onto central supermassive black hole in that galaxy. So these are quasars. So generally it will be like this. So a super massive black hole where there is huge amount of gas will be piling there, and from there jet streams of energy in the form of radio frequencies, it is being emptied back. It consumes a lot of the gas. As this black hole, it releases huge amount of energy in the form of radiation. This leads to the formation of quasars. Super black hole consuming a lot of gas, radiating back as the high energy. That is quasars. Most quasars are larger than the sun's solar system. A quasar is a supermassive black hole that is growing rapidly by gobbling of huge amount of the gases. So the term quasar refers to A, B, C, D. So questions will be like that. In that line they can pose that question regarding quasar. So quasar is a giant black hole, supermassive black hole which consumes lot of gas, thereby high energy emission in the form of radiation. Right? That was quasar. Then large language modules. This is important. It is in news multiple times recently. So what is large language module? Yes, correct. Like ChatGPT, where the machine learning, the AI learning which enables to comprehend huge sets of inputs of the data which you give, and thereby that system, it adapts about predicting the next what you are going to ask or what information that it should be giving. So these are the things under large language models. So it is a type of artificial intelligence that recognizes and generates the text. So what happens when you search something on ChatGPT? For example, if you have searched about something called, let's say, quasar only, then what it will suggest? Do you want me to tell about how these are formed? Or do you want me to search more information about quasars? So this phenomenon is about large language models. This ability is large language models. So they are trained on huge sets of data, hence known as large. They build on machine learning. They build on machine learning. Specifically type of neural network called transformer models. So simply it is a computer program that has fed with enough examples to be able to recognize and interpret human language or other types of complex data. What is fourth IR? What is cyber physical systems?
Metas working in both.
Right. So examples of, and also this other points, LLM use a type of machine learning called deep learning in order to understand how characters, words and sentences function together. They are further trained via tuning, like fine-tuned, prompt-tuned for particular task, such as interpreting questions and generating responses. All the chatbots, all these are included under this large language learning models. Examples: GPT 3.54 by OpenAI, Cloud 2 by OpenAI, Gemini by Google, Llama 2 by Google, Palm by Google, Mistral 7B by Paris-based startup Mistral AI. So these are the examples of large language learning models. Meta na? Sure. ఒకసారి చూస్తా. జెమిని గూగుల్ ఒకసారి చూడండి. మెటానా? ఓకే, కరెక్ట్ చేసి మెటా. ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ నోటింగ్ ఇట్ డౌన్, కరెక్ట్ ఇట్ టు మెటా. Right? This is about large learning models. Also, please go through this cyber physical systems, augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality. Go back, please read about that. Then the next one, Kulasekarapattinam spaceport. So it is a second satellite launching station after Sriharikota. Kulasekarapattinam spaceport located in Tamil Nadu at Thoothukudi district. So why it is proposed? It is proposed because having an advantage, first thing obviously expansion of space activities. The main difference which you will get from Sriharikota to here is Sriharikota, this has to bypass Sri Lanka's airspace. So first it has to move east and then south. So that thing will be overcome by this Kulasekarapattinam spaceport. So it is located in Tamil Nadu. It has formally launched by sending a sounding rocket. Second satellite launch facility. It would be completed within 2 years. So as I was saying, from Sriharikota it first heads east and then turns south to avoid Sri Lankan airspace, costing more fuel and payload capacity. So it has to come like this. Whereas Kulasekarapattinam, it can directly, you can launch without any tussle, like in the case of Sriharikota. So this dog leg maneuver is a sharp turn that causes rocket to deviate from the straight flight path. This maneuver requires more fuel in the rocket, which eats up the payload capacity. Try to remember this term, dog leg maneuver. So when the rockets are launched from Kulasekarapattinam, this maneuver is not required as there is no landmass along the flight path in the southward direction. So go back, read the differences between GSLVs, PSLVs, and also differences between geostationary satellites, polar satellites, right? Geosynchronous satellites also. Then hyodols. The next one is hyodol. So hyodol is a small doll-like thing. Squishy is not squishy, soft toys. Primarily it is a robo which uses AI, primarily targeted towards elderly people or those with the dementia, where it is more about care. It tries to interact with the person. So it also reminds them about the medicines or to differ from their loneliness. And also this has multiple features, like it will give this alarm when there is no activity for some period of time. Also it tries to detect the moods or the way the person, that elder person is conversing. Based on that, it tries to give the data back. It tries to analyze the different things. It is as it is based on AI. So hyodols, South Korean company, it has come up with a social robo. Same thing, the question format be like hyodols. The recent news is regarding what? Is a term, or hyodols is about what? ABCD. So it is a social robo that uses AI to help older people and also the people with dementia who are digitally disadvantaged. So it is a chat robo platform. It helps to beat loneliness and help people with the dementia. It collects the lifelong data by interaction based on the latest AI and home IoT technology. Hyodols. If you see images, very cute bommalu unnai. So they look very cuddly, soft toys. Their advanced language processing and ability to recognize emotions, talk, play music, whatever. It is about AI care robo. It is an AI care robo that offers customized care for seniors. The robot does this by relying on data collection, by living and having conversation with them. As I was saying, it comes in with the touch interaction, check-ins, health coach, voice messages, 24-hour voice reminders and all. So it will be able to send and receive voice messages, make group announcements. Also, it monitors the health condition of its users by health questions and answers, questionnaires. It also collects verbal and non-verbal data 24 hours from the users through AI. So technology, it can hold conversations up to owing to the large language model which we discussed earlier, large language learning models. So besides, the AI robot can be linked to the smart home devices, comes with an interface for easy interactions for all users. So this is about Hyodals. Then Hyperloop technology. What is Hyperloop technology? It is a proposed fifth mode of transport. Yes. So it works, it is a proposed fifth mode of transport, a brainchild from Elon Musk, which works on the principle of magnetic levitation, maglev technology, magnetic levitation. So what is this magnetic levitation or maglev technology, where the repulsion, the force of repulsion between the like poles, electromagnetic repulsion, this is used as a source of the propulsion. So there will be a loop, a vacuum chamber where the pods will be there and the tracks will be there. Our tracks and the pod will have this reflection, they repulse each other because of the magnetic activity, electromagnetic activity. Because of this repulsion, there will be a propulsive force which will generate very high speeds. So estimated speed is 1200 km per hour. So you can reach Delhi in 1.5 hours to 2 hours. So that is the Hyperloop technology. So Hyperloop technology, it is a Switzerland Hyperloop company, Swissport Technologies signed MOU, that is why it is in news. So technology is fifth mode of transport, which will use magnetic levitation, maglev technology, in low pressure tubes to transport people and goods. And again, what is the major impact it will have? Huge reduction on the greenhouse gas emissions. There will be very drastic reduction in air traffic once if it comes into operational. So Hyperloop is a proposed system of transport that would see parts or containers travel at high speeds through a tube that has been pumped into a near vacuum. The train parts will either float using magnetic levitation technology. The parts would be able to travel at immense speeds like 760 miles per hour, 1200 kmph per hour. So the pod would initially launch using an electric motor before levitation takes place, and then pod will glide at cruising speed in that low pressure environment. So this will be the pod, this will be the track, repulsion the force. So Hyperloop technology, propulsion. So like poles repel and push the train forward, opposite poles attracts and pull the train forward. So this is about Hyperloop technology. Then Chandrayaan 4. So Chandrayaan 4 is an advancement from the Chandrayaan 3, where the next attempt would be to bring back the sample, the soil sample from the moon. So till now we have achieved the soft landing. So the next step would be to collect the sample and bring back that sample to the earth. So that is the main theme about the Chandrayaan 4. So till now all these things had propulsion was there, descender module was there, Till now, here it was there. Then, so these are the important changes. Here, lander came in the previous Chandrayaan, but proposed Chandrayaan, after collection, it has to have ascender module, and then it has to go back to a docking space, then transfer the things, from then transfer, then re-entry. So these are the additions in the Chandrayaan 4. So 5 spacecraft modules, propulsion module, similar to Chandrayaan 3, it will guide into the lunar orbit, and then from there descender module, it will make the landing similar to the Vikram lander in Chandrayaan 3, and from here it will be different. Once the samples are collected, the ascender module, it will eject from the lander and begin return, and then transfer module, it will grab the ascender module getting out of the lunar orbit and will journey back to the earth before the capsule with the rock and soil samples detach. And then finally re-entry module. So scientists are now working on this in the Chandrayaan 4 mission. Then this is one of the important satellite launched in January, XPOSat, X-ray polarimetry. X-ray polarimetry. So what is polarization of light? Generally, what happens is the light particles will vibrate like this. In polarization, they are made to vibrate in a perpendicular pattern. So this is polarization. So this happens generally, this won't happen in the natural settings. Only in particular kind of filters or particular kind of energy, high energy impacting visible light, then only it happens. But this is observed most commonly in cosmic events. So once we have this satellite, this event study will become easier, thereby increasing the chances of study about the cosmic rays or any astronomical events where the polar light study will be there. So whatever be the studies which are happening now, that are mostly depending upon this visible spectrum. I mean unpolarized light, to be specific. So once you have this satellite, this polarization of light can also be studied. That is next level of studying the astronomical events. That is the importance of this X-ray polarimeter satellite. So India is the second country after NASA to have this satellite to study this X-ray polarization. Right? So XPOSat, arthamainda? So whatever may be the studies which are currently there, it is about unpolarized light. The satellites, all those are studying about the unpolarized light. But this polarization of the light, which happens generally manaki ikkada kaadu. When there is in high levels of atmosphere in the galaxies and spaces, where there are continuous some cosmic events might be happening. So in such cosmic events, this polarization of lights will be very frequent. Once you have the satellite specifically to read this polarization, you will get an undue advantage in studying astronomic events. So that is the importance. So it is launched in January. It is the first dedicated satellite from ISRO to carry out and measure X-ray emissions from celestial sources like black holes and neutron stars. Overall globe, it is the second satellite in the world to study X-ray polarization. So it has two payloads. One is Pollux. The next one is Expect. Pollux is polarimeter instrument in X-rays to measure the amount of the polarization. Polarimeter. Pollux. Whereas expect is it to provide X-ray spectroscopy and timing, to provide fast timing and good resolution of these X-rays, soft X-rays. Spectroscopy and timing. One is the measurement of polarization, amount of polarization. Second one is the capturing of those images, soft X-rays. So it will carry out long-term spectral and temporal studies of cosmic X-ray sources like pulsars, magnetars, right? So that is the importance of this satellite, XPOSat, X-ray polarimeter satellite. So why the X-ray polarimeter satellite important is because of the polarization studies. So polarization which generally happens in high energy events. Then the next one, induction charging. What is induction charging?
Without cable.
Yes. So there won't be any direct physical contact in the recharging of the batteries. So that is induction charging. So this is charged through the electromagnetic waves, electromagnetic fields. For example, by this method of proposal, if you want to charge your EV car, you just park there without any need of connection. So with the electromagnetic fields, the battery gets charged. So the government wants to, why it is in news is, government wants to bring in this electromagnetic charging along the highways. Along the highways, it wants to fit in that material along the roads so that there won't be need for stoppage of the vehicle. So that is the proposal. So that is why it is in news. So induction charging is a wireless charging, a method of charging in which electromagnetic fields, they transfer energy between two coils without any physical connection. So it is transmitted by either by electrical fields or magnetic fields. So the most extensively utilized wireless technology is inductive charging. It is based on the laws of magnetic induction. I'll show you the image. Yes. So they want to generate such kind of infrastructure where there will not be any necessity for the stoppage of the vehicles. So there will be a receiver at the base of the vehicle and this coil transmitters will be along the road, which will create that electromagnetic flux which will be absorbed by the base material, where there will be continuous supply of energy for charging of the vehicle.
Sir, is there any name for this scheme?
Scheme just induction charging చేద్దాము అని వచ్చున్నారు. That is an idea just now. Scheme ఇంకా implementation stage దాకా పోలేదు. అమ్మా తెలీదండి. So 3 types. First one, static or stationary charging, where the vehicle will be stopped without any physical connection. Like ఇప్పుడు మీరు most of this charging ఇదే ఉంటుంది కదా. ఇప్పుడు for example your watches, wireless charge, mobiles అంత వస్తున్నాయి కదా, where there won't be, that is static charging. Then quasi dynamic is, so this process permits an EV to get charged at specific places with at low speeds like traffic signals, bus stops. So whenever it passes through slowly it cruises at slow speeds, this phenomenon of charging happens. That is quasi dynamic or opportunistic charging. Then third one, dynamic, like which we discussed about. So they want to have this along the long drive distances without having to stop. So these are the three levels: static, quasi-dynamic and dynamic. So the principle is magnetic induction. A primary circuit called transmitter, it generates the magnetic field. A secondary circuit called the receiver, it receives the generated forces as power, which is connected to the EV batteries. This is about induction charging, right? So applications you work on various applications of the induction charging. So ala kuda question raavachu. So devices where induction charging is being used: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then steel slag rod technology. So steel slag rod technology is a kind of waste to wealth generation, where the minimization of the waste, where that company JSW Steel, it had constructed 1 kilometer 4-lane steel slag road. So the slag which is generated from the steel furnace, it is used as a resource for the road construction. So it is a non-metallic glassy material consisting of calcium, magnesium, manganese, aluminum silicates. These are generated as in the form of molten flux as an impurity in steel furnace. So rather than discarding it or discharging it, it is being used as a waste to wealth, a source for construction of the road. Steel slag road technology, SSRT. JSW Steel. So during the road construction, it possessed to remove impurities and metal content. They exhibit super mechanical properties compared to the natural roads. It includes bituminous and cement concrete steel slag sections on both right hand and left hand carriageways. So this is about steel slag road technology, right? Then graphene. So this is an old one, but recently in news because India has established its first graphene center. Indian Innovation Center for Graphene. India Innovation Center for Graphene. So graphene has been in use from very long time. It has got multiple applications. So graphene is 1 mm of graphite containing 3 million. It is derived from the graphite. So graphite is our pencil. So the minute form of this graphite is graphene. It is 1 atom thick layer of carbon atoms arranged in a honeycomb shape. 2-dimensional form of carbon, you can say 2D carbon. So why it is in news is India Innovation Center for Graphene, first center in Kerala. So properties of graphene, they have been asked multiple times in UPSC. I will brush it. So it is the strongest material, 200 times stronger than the steel, high thermal conductivity, high electrical conductivity, high surface area because of 2-dimensional nature, and it is impermeable to the gases. These are the different features. Because of these different properties of graphene, it has multiple diverse applications, right from conduction or filtration, multiple applications. So it is the strongest material, high thermal conductivity, high electrical conductivity, high surface area, impermeable, multiple applications like carbon nanotubes, multiple applications. Right, applications. Also other features like it is almost transparent, flexible, like you can change according to the shape, flexible, need large surface area as I was saying because of its 2D nature. It has got chemically stable and inert nature. It does not easily interact with the other chemicals. Biocompatibility. It makes as a source for biomedical applications. Biocompatibility. So these are the different properties of graphene. This question has been asked in and around graphene many times in UPSC Prelims. Different properties and applications. If you see in electronics, graphene based transistors, circuits, conductive elements, then energy storage like batteries, supercapacitors, conductive films, transparent conductive films, touch screens, flexible displays, and materials reinforcement, where reinforcement of composites which will enhance the mechanical strength and reduce weight in aerospace and automotive industries. Multiple applications because of varied properties of the graphene, right? Also in thermal management, sensors, biomedical devices, water filtrations, thermal coatings like anti-corrosion coatings, anti-fogging films, lightweight materials, multiple applications. Very, very important question, very, very important topic. Right. So also few topics, please note it down and go through. Artemis Accord, National Clean Air Program, we discussed this. Then Noma disease, it is added to the neglected tropical diseases. This is one more topic, please go through it. Vaibhav scheme for scientists. What is Vaibhav scheme? Where the scientists of Indian origin, they can come in and spend and do the lab research in India for 3 months without any issues. So 3 months in a year. That is about Vaibhav scheme. So coal gasification, this is also in news in multiple times. Coal gasification or syngas, you can call it as syngas. The questions can be like what are the compositions of the syngas, applications of the syngas. Then biochar by pyrolysis. So this is in news because it is being taken as an alternative to the stubble burning of Delhi. Biochar, what is pyrolysis? There won't be oxygen, absence of oxygen. So burning or heating to high temperatures in the absence of oxygen. So this will result, this biochar has got multiple applications. It can be used as a soil or fixing the plants, multiple applications. Please go back and read that biochar also. Right? Right. So we'll move to the economy. The first one is inverted duty structure. So inverted duty structure and enti. What is inverted duty structure? It is about where the basic raw materials, basic inputs they are posed with heavy taxes than the outputs. So if you see this triangle, this is inverted duty structure. That is, input is having 18% of GST, whereas the output is just 5% of GST. That is, the raw materials, final product will have less tax than compared to the raw material. That is inverted duty structure. This is in news because the complaints from the Indian business. So this makes Indian domestic industry import dependent. What will happen? When the final good is less taxed, what will they do? They'll try to import rather than producing it here, because the raw material is costing you more. The process of production is costing you more. So that is inverted duty structure, indirectly leading to the trade mismatch, trade imbalance, where the imports are much more. It is leading to the increase in imports. So several negative effects: increased production cost, as I was saying. So this impacts sectors like textiles, engineering, where also we will lose our that element of global competitiveness.
Instead of making a product, we can easily import.
Yes, that's it. Also your product, it will have high price of production. You cannot sell to the cost which you have got produced. So this is the importance of this inverted duty structure. So inverted duty structure, the question can be like, the inverted duty structure means ABCD. Alanti question vastundi. So high import duty on raw materials than the finished goods, making import of the finished goods cheaper. So dehydrated culture media attracts custom duty of 10%, whereas the microorganism, it attracts the duty of 30%. So the direct product is less taxed. So similarly, the seaweed, it attracts 10%, whereas agar, it acts 30%. Raw material 30%. So solar modules attracts nil import duty, while the import duty on components, it ranges 5 to 10%. That is the raw materials, the level of the basic level, where there is high tax rather than the final product. So this will indirectly lead to a situation where there will be more of import dependence and failure of the export competitiveness. Then next one, Gini coefficient. So what is Gini coefficient? Yes, measure of inequality, measure of wealth or income inequality. So measure ranges from 0 to 1, where 0 refers it is equal, absolute equality, where 1 is the other extreme, where absolute inequality. So a lower Gini coefficient indicates more income, more equal income distribution, 0 to 1. So multiple times this thing has been asked. Gini coefficient, Lorentz curve, Tobin tax, Giffen goods. What is Giffen goods?
Like against the demand, against the supply.
High worth goods. What I mean, ఎక్కువ tax. Yes, those are Giffen goods. Yes. What is Tobin tax?
To reduce the demand of it.
Correct.
Indirectly it is.
Yes, correct. Like cigarettes, smoking. So that tax which is imposed to reduce that usage is known as Tobin tax. So Gini coefficient is, so e terms with the multiple times questions vache. Please go through them. So one of them is Gini coefficient, which is calculated from this Lorentz curve, which has a range of 0 to 1. 0 is equality, 1 is inequality. So there has been recent report by State Bank of India, SBI report on income inequality, which shows that the Gini coefficient has decreased to 0.402 from this level of 0.472, which says there is a reduction of income inequality in India. So tax base, increasing tax base, other findings, tax base has increased, which says 74 million tax filers are there, decline in the share of top earners, improving upward mobility, that is decrease in the number of poor people, rising female labor force participation. These are the other findings in this report, SBI report on income inequality. So direct tax, 74 million tax filers. So 74 million is 740 lakhs, that is 7.4 crores. Mana population enta? 140 crores. 2%. 2% are the direct tax filers who file the income tax. Out of those 2%, I think only maybe 1% would be paying something. So 1% of people are paying as a direct income tax in the whole country. So that is why our country is, what happens with the issues with the freebies. So the most unaccounted segment where they get affected is this taxpayers, and being taxpayers they won't get any benefits or schemes from government again. Right. So this is about Gini coefficient and the SBI report on income inequality, where the other findings are there is increase in the tax base, where 74 million tax filing and decline in the share of top earners, improving of the upward mobility, that is decrease in the number of poor people, rising female labor force participation. Then the next topic, domestic systematically important banks. So what does this mean? This means banks which are too big to fail. Or if these banks fail, the entire economy will collapse of that nation. So DSIPs are the banks whose failure could significantly disrupt the financial system. So they are identified on the factors like size, activities, complexity, lack of substitutability and interconnectedness. As I was saying, these are too big to fail banks like HDFC, SBI, ICICI. So meaning their failure could lead to the widespread financial instability. As a result, they will face stricter regulatory oversight. So once the bank is listed under this DSIPs, they have more and more stricter regulations over the various practices, be it cash maintenance or reserve ratio maintenance, or with the adherence to the Basel norms, Basel conventions. So based on systemic importance scores, the RBI places this DSIPs into different buckets. These buckets will determine the amount of additional capital requirement which has to be kept aside. Banks in the higher buckets will face higher capital surcharge. So these banks in the DSIPs, they need to maintain additional common equity tier 1 capital requirement, which is in addition to the capital conservation buffer. So whichever are in this list, they have to maintain both common equity tier 1 capital along with capital buffer, capital conservation buffer. So thereby ensuring that these banks won't get fail. Stricter regulatory norms in keeping the capital requirements. So that is about DSIPs. Multiple times this has been asked. SBI, HDFC, ICICI. You can take them as examples. Then next topic is multidimensional poverty index or poverty study, that is done by Niti Aayog from 2005 to 2006. how the poverty has progressed from 2005 to 2006. Niti Aayog has released a paper. It says that around 248 millions, that is around 24 crore people have emerged out of the poverty. So India's multi-dimensional poverty index has dropped from 29% in 2013 to 11%, 11.28% in 2023, which is meaning around 24 crore people have moved out of the poverty. This is according to the study done by Niti Aayog. So current is 11.28%. So where it had much bigger impact is Uttar Pradesh, where 6 crore people have come out of the poverty. Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh. Ever heard this term, Bimaru states? Yes. So India is on track to achieve single digit poverty rates by 2024, which is expected to meet its SDG 1. What is SDG 1? No poverty. So this is about this report. Also please go back, read about the components of MDPI, components of HDI. And then the next one, net borrow ceiling. So what is net borrow ceiling? So it is in news because the government of Kerala, it has filed a complaint on Government of India in Supreme Court regarding the restrictions on the borrowings from the state. So Kerala wanted to alter the norms so that it can have better access to the credit things. So here the main point is net borrowing ceiling, that is a fiscal constraint imposed by India on states. So it limits the amount they can borrow from the various sources. So that is known as net borrow ceiling limit. So the contention is Kerala says that it infringes the state's fiscal autonomy and constitutional rights. Net borrow ceiling is the fiscal constraint. So how it is determined? It is determined by Union government through a calculation which subtracts the state liabilities, including those of public accounts. It also deducts any borrowings of state-owned enterprises where the principal and interest are paid from the state budget. So first one, state liabilities in the public accounts, borrowings of the state-owned enterprises, where including principal and interest. So these are the two things that are used to arrive at this net borrowing of net borrowing ceiling, right? So net borrowing ceiling, it might come, what does net borrowing ceiling deals with? What does it include? Right? Then the next topic, MSPs. Many times this question has come, MSPs. Who will advise this MSPs? CSEP. CSEP on the advice of the CSEP, CECA. They will finalize it.
Just advise them.
Yes. So the minimum support price is the price. What does it mean? It is the price at which, at least at this price, the government will procure that crop. The price at which the government of India guarantees to purchase that agricultural commodity if the market price falls lower than that. So MSP is given to the 22 crops. So Food Corporation of India is responsible for this procurement. So 22 agricultural crops. In the case of sugarcane, it is FRP, Fair Remunerative Price. So it is based on the recommendations of CSEP after reviewing the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, CCEA. It is chaired by Prime Minister, will take that call. Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. CSEP is Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices. This MSP is calculated based on the A2 plus FL. So A2, what is A2? Yes, it is the input cost. It total paid out cost directly incurred by the farmer, like seeds, fertilizers, labor, fuel, irrigation. What is A2 plus FL? Family labor, unpaid family labor, that is included. And then C2, it is the most comprehensive cost, which includes A2 plus FL plus land rent plus interest on that capital. Propose. Ano? Ashok Dalwai Committee, doubling of formal income. Adi Ashok Dalwai ko doubling of formal income. Adi. So A2 cost and FL cost. So based on this, they will arrive at that price. What is A2? What is A2 plus FL and what is C2? Right? Then the next topic is payment banks. So payment banks, why it is in news? The RBI has posed severe restrictions on the Paytm Payments Bank due to the non-compliance of directives. So here the questions would be around what a payment bank can do, what a payment bank shouldn't be doing. So to have basic idea, so minimum paid equity capital is 100 crores. So they also should maintain the cash reserve ratio. So what is cash reserve ratio? What is SLR?
In different forms, not just liquid.
Right. What is repo, reverse repo? Please go back, read them. Impact of inflation on repos, reverse repos, CRRs. What happens with what? So SLRs, the payment banks must invest minimum of 75% of their demand deposits in SLRs, including like government securities, SLR eligible instruments. So what they cannot do is, they cannot lend money like commercial banks. They should not provide loans, and deposit limits will be, they can accept deposit only up to 2 lakhs per account, and they cannot accept time deposits or NRI deposits. No non-banking financial activities. They cannot set up subsidiaries, NBFC activities. Non-banking financial activities. So they can issue only debit cards. They cannot issue credit cards because they cannot lend loans. So payment banks, they cannot lend money, they cannot issue credit cards. The deposit should be per account only 2 lakh per account. At the same time, they cannot accept time deposits or NRI deposits. And there should be no non-banking financial activities. So they can work as, what can they do? They can work as business correspondents for other commercial banks. Then they could participate in remittance and payment services like mobile payments, transfers, purchases, ATM, debit cards, net banking, third party fund transfers. All these things they can do. They can also distribute simple financial products like mutual funds, insurance. Right? They can provide payments, what do you call that? Payment based. So you can buy tickets, you can make payments through Paytm. So you can do remittance and payment services. So these are the things that payment banks can do. These are the things payment banks shouldn't be doing. Then WTO rules, public stock holding. So it is in news because this Keynes group, it has claimed that India's public stock holding is heavily subsidized and violates the principles of WTO. Public stock holding. Keynes group. What is Keynes group is? It is a coalition of agriculture exporting countries that advocate liberalization of agricultural trade. So it aims to promote free and fair practices in agricultural trade, overcoming the trade barriers, subsidies and protection measures. So the group argues that India's farmers, they distort the global food prices and undermines the food security. So this is the contention from Keynes group. So this you all know, green box, amber box and blue box. The rules under WTO which deals with the subsidies. In the green box, these are the subsidies that are allowed, which does not distort the trade. So they significantly do not distort the trade. They are not specific to any product, but they are in general in nature. So such subsidies like funding for research, environmental protection, direct income support for the farmers, those are the subsidies that are put in the green box. Whereas in the amber box, these subsidies, they distort the trade by promoting excessive production. They will lead to the excessive production like input subsidies, subsidies on the fertilizers, MSPs. So what is the rule is WTO limits this subsidy at 5% of the production value in developed, 10% in developing countries. So what is the Keynes group says that this is being flouted. And blue box, these subsidies are similar to amber, but they aim to restrict the production. At present, only few countries like Norway, Iceland utilize these subsidies. The WTO does not impose any limits on these subsidies. So difference is, these subsidies are okay. These subsidies, they distort the trade, but still they are allowed with a cap, 10% in the case of India. But what is the contention is, Keynes group says that this allowance is making more and more distortion of the trade because it is hampering the prices of the food grains globally because of large amount of the production, because of high amount of subsidies given by India to its farmers. What will be the India's argument? That these are allowed and we need to do that to sustain the livelihoods of our farmers. So this is in news because the Keynes group, it has claimed this public stock holding. It is violating the provisions of World Trade Organization. Right? Then the another news, direct tax to GDP ratio, it is 15 years high. So it is now at around 6.11%. So what will it say? It says that an estimate of country's ability to mobilize the resources to fuel its development. Tax buoyancy, you can call it as. So direct tax to GDP, when direct tax to GDP peruguntunte emaitadi? That is improvement of contribution of tax, fueling of more and more resources. But tax buoyancy is the measure of efficiency of the tax collection. Tax buoyancy is efficiency of tax collection in response to the growth of GDP. This is amount. This is efficiency of collection. So the efficiency of collection in comparison with the growth of GDP is known as tax buoyancy. So tax revenues are considered as buoyant when they increase more proportionately in response to the increase in GDP. So tax rate penchakunda, tax revenues ఎప్పుడైతే ఎక్కువ పెరుగుతాయో అప్పుడు ఆ సిచ్యువేషన్ ని tax buoyant అంటాం. Simple. Tax revenues are getting increased along with the GDP despite there is no change in the rate of taxes. That situation is known as tax buoyant. Right? So direct fact. Yes. Then reverse flip. This is in recent in news because what is reverse flip is many startups that are based from India, they are shifting back to India. Reverse flipping, moving their overseas holding entities to India because of advantages of the taxes. So reverse flipping is a term. It is used to describe the trend of overseas startups shifting their domicile to India and listing on the Indian stock exchanges. Why? To capitalize on the India's economy, access to the deeper pool of venture capital. So India based offshore startups, they are coming back to India. This is known as reverse flipping. So economic survey, it recognized this concept of reverse flipping and proposed ways to accelerate the process, promote the process so that you will get more and more amount of economic activity. Reverse flipping, where Indian based offshore startups coming back to India. Right? Then the next one, PM Mitra scheme. So this is an important scheme which was recently launched, primarily aimed towards textiles, textile industry. So the aim is to develop integrated large scale and modern industrial infra, promote the value chain in textile industry, reduce the logistics costs, improve the competitiveness, helping India in attracting the investments. So 7 places, 7 Mitra parks Lucknow, Navsari, Amaravati of Maharashtra, Kalaburagi of Karnataka, Virudunagar in Tamil Nadu, Warangal in Telangana, Dhar of Madhya Pradesh. 7 Prime Minister Mitra Parks under this scheme, where these areas are established with a minimum 1000 acres of the land for creating infrastructure for promotion of textile sector, textile industries, PM Mitra Parks. What is greenfield and brownfield?
Fresh complete and it is green.
Juniors. What is greenfield and brownfield? Telsa? Greenfield is altogether new thing. Brownfield is altering, which is there. You are rejuvenating or revamping it. So, Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow, Gujarat, Navsari, Maharashtra, Amaravati, Karnataka, Kalaburagi, Virudunagar in Tamil Nadu, Warangal, and Dhar of Madhya Pradesh. So, the theme is 5F. 5F. Farm to fiber to factory to fashion to foreign. 5F. Farm, fiber, factory, fashion and foreign. So minimum estimated area per Mitra Park is, minimum area is 1000 acres. "5F" theme: farm, fiber, factory, fashion and foreign. So these are the different locations, different proposed for Mitra Parks under PM Mitra scheme. Then the next one, the meaning of these terms: new service and new instruments of service. So these are the mechanisms by which the requirements of the funds are met when there comes a new situation, or altogether a situation where the financial limits are changed. For example, new service is where the funds allotted to that scheme that is getting exhausted and you need more funds. So that is how you can increase this new service. New instruments of service is where one thing which was not present in that budget. For example, COVID-19 thing was not present in the budget. Suddenly a new thing came which required multiple expenses. So that where you can allot the funds by a mechanism is known as new instrument of service. Unnadanne limit breach ayin tarvata cheskunedi new service. Asal budget proposals lo ledu, sudden ga oka thing ochindi which needs much more money, that is new instruments of service. So public accounts committee, they have to approve it. So what happened, why it is in news is that limit of that money that has been increased recently, only 4th time after our independence. So previously when it was about 50 crores, now it has increased to the 100 crores. So 100 crores varaku vadukochu. Then tarvata, then you need all the permissions, regulations and all. Under this clause of new service or new instrument of service. So new service denotes expenditure resulting from a new policy decision not previously brought to the Parliament's notice. Whereas new instrument service refers to a relatively significant expenditure stemming from notable expansion of existing policy. New service, new instrument of the service, existing service. Understood this concept? New instruments of service ante already unnadanlo breach ayipoyin tarvata inka extra avasaramaindi. New service ante just like the example we discussed, COVID-19, where there is no discussion about that in that parliament, in the budget. New service, new instrument of service. Meanings of these can come in UPSC prelims.
Sir, my grants will additional grants.
అవి ఉంటాయి.
Sounds like same.
స్పెసిఫిక్గా అడగండి.
Additional grants అని కూడా
అంటే ఇది లార్జ్ చంక్ ఆఫ్ మనీ అవసరమైనప్పుడు, మోర్ దాన్ అంటే ఎక్కువ మనీ అవసరమైనప్పుడు. గ్రాంట్స్ అనేది మినిమల్ టు జస్ట్ పుష్ చేయడానికే తప్ప, ఇది ఎక్కువ అంటే చాలా చంక్ ఆఫ్ మనీ అవసరమైనప్పుడు దే విల్ రిసార్ట్ టు దిస్. సో న్యూ పాలసీ రిలేటెడ్ ఎక్స్పెండిచర్ ఇంక్రీజ్డ్ limit from 50 crores to the 100 crores. In the new instrument of service, the reporting limit is set up to the 20% of original appropriation or up to 100 crores. So 100 crores చేశారు. This 100 are 20% of the proposed. This is one of the mechanism and you cannot say that adi vaadaru kada. This is one of the mechanism. So this is about new service and new instrument of service. Then patent rules. This was in news because of recent amendments. Patent rules. So these have been recently amended by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So to brush, these are territorial rights. What is the meaning of territorial rights? Within the territory of that country only. Within the law of land of that country only. And criteria, please note, if you don't remember, it should be novel. It must involve an inventive step. It should have an industrial application. It should not fall under the categories of the inventions that are excluded from the patentability. 4. Novel, new thing ayi undali, inventive step undali, industrial application undali. Where that are barred from that, ఆ కేటగిరీలో ఉండకూడదు. It should not fall under the categories of that inventions that are excluded from the patentability. It should be new, it should be inventive, it should be capable of industrial application. What is evergreening of patents? Using yes, what loophole?
Making small again getting
What is process patent, product patent?
patent on the product.
So India, what does India follow? Process patent or product patent? Product patent. So why this has been in news is Natco Pharma. So Natco Pharma, it came up with one thing called compulsory licensing, the issue in evergreening of patents. So the issue is they have tweaked in the process. So they have changed the process to bring about the product. They said this is a new thing. So then India had to revise it to stick to adhere to this product patent thing. That is India's or government Supreme Court's argument was that what is the extra use other than what you have earlier. So to avoid evergreening of patents. So for the new patent on the same product, they should come up with a new use, new application. Then only they can extend that patent. So as he was saying, so using loopholes to extend patent period is evergreening of patents. So in this patent, what are the recent changes, recent amendment changes of 2024? First one is, it will give the certificate of inventorship. So it has been introduced to acknowledge the contribution of inventors. Second one, the time limit has been changed for filing the request from 48 months to the 31 months. 48 months to the 31 months. Time limit has changed. If it is foreign applications, from 6 months to 3 months. So renewal fee, it is reduced by 10% if it is paid in advance. This is one another change. And the last change is the frequency to file this patent. It has reduced from once in a financial year to once in 3 financial years. Frequency to file the statements of working of patents, it has been reduced from once in a financial year to once in 3 financial years. Once in 3 years. These are the changes that came in 2024. One certificate, then reduction of the time to 31 months. If it is foreign, 3 months. Then the last one is reduction of the frequency from 1 year to once in a year to once in 3 years. About the working of patents. And value addition. So International Intellectual Property Index. Then another thing is Global Innovation Index. So the first one is given by US Chamber of Commerce. This Global Innovation Index is given by WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization. Ranks, India's first one is 42 out of 55. In IP index, in GIA index, it is 40 out of 132. This question, I think it has been asked. Global Innovation Index is given by which organization? WIPO. WIPO, Cornell University and INSEAD. Right? Then we'll move to the next topic, exchange traded funds. Exchange traded funds. So why it is in news? It is in news because the SEBI has directed mutual fund houses to stop accepting any more inflows, any more funds that invest in overseas exchange traded funds. So that is the news. You have to understand what is a mutual fund, what is an exchange traded fund. You have to have the basic idea. So what is a mutual fund first?
There will be a manager
Yes, fund manager will be there.
who will invest beyond us.
Yes. So there will be pool of investments, pool of money from multiple sources. There will be one fund manager. This fund manager, he will invest that money in some stocks, real estate, REITs, government securities, bonds. Based on your contribution to that mutual fund, you will be allotted some value termed as net asset value. For example, let's say that is total about 100. So you might be getting some 10 paisa or less than that according to your contribution. As the investment is done in across the segments, as it grows, the value also grows. And you can sell your units. If the 1 rupee has become 2 rupees, now your 10 paisa has become 20 paisa. Now you can sell that unit and you will get back that 20 paisa. So this is a long-term process which is managed by the fund managers. Whereas exchange traded funds, what is exchange? Exchange is a base where the stock market operates. Be it, you might have heard NSE, BSE, National Stock Exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange. So exchange is a platform where this trading of stocks happen. So based on the performance of that exchange, there are some indexes. For example, you might have heard this term also, Sensex, Nifty, right? So based on this growth, there will be exchange traded funds linked to the growth of this index. You will invest directly in that exchange traded fund about the growth of that exchange index. This is almost like trading of a stock. You can buy that day, you can sell that day. Whereas mutual funds, it is about the management of the funds you are giving by a fund manager. Here you are directly operating with the money. Exchange traded funds. That traded fund is directly linked to the exchange index. So that is the exact difference between exchange traded fund and mutual fund. So exchange traded funds are investment funds that are traded on stock exchanges like individual stocks. So they are designed to track the performance of particular index. As we were saying, Nifty, Sensex, particular index, commodity, currency. Then they offer investors to diversify their portfolios without having to buy individual stocks. You are investing on whole index, not just one stock. Whereas in mutual funds, there is a pool of money by one fellow, he collects and he'll invest in multiple things. That is mutual fund. Here, the money is spent by you on an index. That index is decided by that exchange. అర్థమైందా? కన్ఫ్యూజన్ ఏమైనా ఉందా? సో ఇప్పుడు లెట్స్ సే, ఇప్పుడు మీ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ లెట్స్ సే మీ ప్రోగ్రెస్ కార్డ్ తీసుకోండి. టేక్ యువర్ ప్రోగ్రెస్ కార్డ్. సో వాట్ ఆర్ ద డిఫరెంట్ సబ్జెక్ట్స్? తెలుగు, హిందీ, ఇంగ్లీష్, మ్యాథ్స్, ఇలా సబ్జెక్ట్స్ ఉంటాయి. సో అవి స్టాక్స్ లాగా తీసుకోండి. సో స్టాక్స్ లాగా తీసుకొని, సో నువ్వు తెలుగు పర్చేస్ చేసాం, అమ్మడం. You are purchasing Telugu and you are purchasing and selling Telugu. You are purchasing and selling mathematics. That is, there is that individual stocks. You are buying and selling. That is basic level of trading. Based on your score, you will get 1% of all the subjects. So that is index. Based on the performance of all the stocks, you will get one index. For example, Nifty is an index which is derived by the topmost 50 companies of NSE. Similarly, there will be Nifty 50, Nifty 250, Nifty 100, Nifty 500, multiple indexes. So based on that index, there will be one fund, exchange traded fund, that you will buy that this fund, this index will go up or down. With intention that this will go up, you will buy. And when it moves up, overall, for example, let's take that old example. When that 70% was there, you will invest in this fellow, that is, this fellow will move up to 90%. Then you will sell at 90%. So as the index moves upwards, the exchange also, this fund value also increases. So that is, you are directly investing money on the index that is generated. This is one thing. Second thing, suppose one uncle comes to you. He will collect all the funds. I am saying in a very layman language. He will collect all the funds from you, your friends, his family, all the funds, so that he can invest in a bigger segment. Like he will collect some 1 crore of rupees, let's say. He will do that fund management completely in mutual fund. He will invest in different stocks, different things, different index, whatever he want to do, he will do that. For the amount of contribution you have done, he will give you that this is the net asset value you have gained of this total fund. If it, for example, total amount is 100 crores and you have given 1000. So 1000 by 100 crores after the charges. This is the net asset value of your contribution. After some period of time, as he invested, that might go up or that might go down. Based on that, the value, if that 100 crores has become 500 crores, you will get into 5 times what is invested. If it has become 50 crores, value had become 50 crores, you will give half of the amount. Your net asset value will be the same. So as long as you give the money, your net asset value will get increased. So that is mutual fund. Mutual fund is collection of the funds. Whereas exchange traded fund is the fund which is managed to invest in that index. That is exchange traded fund. So exchange traded fund offers investors to diversify their portfolios without having to buy individual securities, without having to buy only mathematics, only Hindi. You can, because this, this fellow, he is weak in mathematics, but he can outperform in science. So you believe overall index will perform better, though one stock goes down, right? So it will diversify the portfolio without having to buy the individual stocks or individual securities. So if you see the difference, exchange traded fund is traded on the stock exchange throughout the day, like stocks. Whereas in the mutual fund, they are bought or sold at the end of the day, and you will be given net asset value. Net asset value based on your contribution. So these prices will be fluctuating throughout the day. As the index moves, it will be fluctuating. Whereas mutual fund, it is based on the value at the day end. So it is mostly passively managed. It is actively managed. Lower expense ratios, may have brokerage fees, higher expense ratio. Also have entry and exit loads, because they will be charging, because they are the one who is managing your funds. There will be more charges. It is high liquidity. Here it is less liquidity. What is liquidity? The amount of transactions. The amount of transactions. So minimum investment, it is like 1 unit. Here it might have more minimum requirement. Can be traded like stocks. There cannot be traded like stocks, like intraday. So this is more tax efficient, that is less tax efficient. Understood the difference, exchange traded fund and mutual fund? Also go read these terms, call option, put option, in the SIDDHI lesson. Yes, SIPs. Yes. Then advantages and disadvantages. Intraday trading is possible in exchange traded fund, lower cost, transparent holdings. This is an important point which might come as true or false statement or something, where the mutual funds, there is no mandatory requirement of demat account. But for this, there is mandatory requirement of demat account. So what is demat account? First thing. So demat account is like the bank account, where you can store your stocks, your investments. That is demat account. So demat account, this is not mandatory for mutual funds. Without demat account also you can invest in mutual fund, but having a demat account is a safer thing. Expense ratio అంటే నువ్వు పెట్టిన ప్రైస్ టు ఎక్స్పెన్స్ రేషియో, నువ్వు పెట్టిన మనీకి ఎంత అవుట్పుట్ వస్తుంది అనేది ఎక్స్పెన్స్ రేషియో. ఏది? అవునవును, హై అంటే నీకు ఛార్జెస్ ఎక్కువ అవుతున్నాయిగా, నీ ఫండ్స్ ఇంకొకటి మేనేజ్ చేస్తున్నాడు. ఇక్కడ ఓన్లీ బ్రోకరేజ్ ఒక్కటే కడతావు నువ్వు, ఇక్కడ బ్రోకరేజ్ కడతావు, వాడికి డబ్బులు ఇస్తావు, తర్వాత నువ్వు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ కొన్ని ఎంఎఫ్స్ ఏముంటే లాక్ ఇన్ పీరియడ్ ఉంటాయి, నువ్వు ఖచ్చితంగా కనీసం 2 సంవత్సరాలు పెట్టాలి అని. నీకు సడన్ గా నీడ్ వచ్చింది, నేను తీసేస్తా అంటే లేదు, ఇంత పెనాల్టీ కట్టేసి తీసుకో అంటాడు. ఎస్. సో దిస్ ఈస్ అబౌట్ ఎక్స్చేంజ్ ట్రేడెడ్ ఫండ్. సో వై ఇట్ ఈస్ ఇన్ న్యూస్? Because SEBI has asked MFs to stop taking funds in the overseas exchange traded funds. Then please Also read about this structural unemployment, care economy, forex reserves which has crossed $600 billion. Please read things, read about these also. State guarantees, restrictions by RBI. So please read about these also. So we have covered almost like 100 topics. So anything else you want me to add in this current affairs section, just let me know. You can ping me or you can talk to me in person so that we can add that thing also, which specifically there is any specific requirement from your side. Also, I want to cover more number of topics. So I thought I could cover 50 from each section, but as I see the timing, hardly 15 to 20 we are covering. And of course, these are not sufficient for exam. This is only rapid revision. So I just wanted to increase the number of topics so that we can meet every week so that we can cover more number of topics and in more depth. So they are happy with that decision, and I'll let you know when the next class would be. And also if there is any specific requirement from your side, please come back and let me know. Right. So, right. Thank you for listening.